I'm right on page 1 of 2 on the front. Oh, you don't-
Interlocal is 34, 12.
Okay, yeah, it was account 342040, and it says community service interlocal. Well, it should be public safety, so I made a new account. So it shows last year's, there's nothing budgeted, and it's 342044.
3, 2, what?
342044. It says sheriff interlocal
Okay, that's the city interlocal then?
for the public safety.
Okay, so that then should be,
235.
how much, 235? Now, last year you got 243.
And that's because the year before, they were short at the end of the year.
Oh, okay,
So it actually should have been as one of those that should have been for the prior year, but they got behind and missed it, and we didn't get it till like 2 months into the new fiscal year.
okay. So that'll be 235.
235, 180? Or 235 even?
No, it should be 180, because they gave 10,000 extra, so.
So 235, 180. 180. Okay, so, the Board of Prisoners, prisoner boarding, average of 28 inmates a day.
That's not right.
Yeah, I
That's what-
think,
yeah, you
I think
originally
it should be raised, to a reasonable amount, not drastically, but we've gotta even out the numbers, and we know you're going to be averaging more than 28. Unfortunately for Leo, he's not getting his detention center. Dave Klaus is wrong. There's too many people. I just met with the commissioners last week.
And they're passing something for school, 'cause that school levy
Right.
passes, they're not passing the
I
general
thought we
levy.
should-
No.
And that's
we
one
should-
where,
that's not-
for all those reports that Tammy did is the 843,000. Double checking, because that one is pulled over from the detention.
Yeah, so
So
what
when
was
you look at
that?
the actuals show 739,031
739,
when it was under 2302. And so I took all those same accounts and put them under the 2300 since we're merging all that. And so when originally did his budget, he gave me 775.
That's,
And that's where we took then, after all the actual monies, and we were discussing yesterday that I needed to look into what the actuals were. And
What-
that's where,
What were the actuals?
close to 844, but it's 843 and some change. I'm looking at town's numbers, it was 843,771. And the discrepancy in why it wasn't showing, and I did double check, and it's because the way the system is, the actual money, when I looked at the A101s, even though it was for last fiscal year, it wasn't received till this fiscal year.
Okay.
So even, and there's, that way every year, there's always a lag.
We're at 32 more.
What's that?
We're at 32 inmates right now, it's 775.
Oh, so the notice is incorrect. Okay. 32. All
This
right.
has changed a couple times.
Yeah. Because I thought we brought it up to 32.
Okay,
And I probably didn't update the notes.
that's fine.
And that one, I mean, my concern,
Well, if you go any higher than that, you're,
well,
That's a capacity, isn't it?
no, but during the holiday season, so for about mid-October, so after January, we have the sympathy card being played, and judges are notorious for, and probation polls being notorious for letting people out during the holiday season. And so we bid down to instead of having 12 to 20,
Oh,
and so,
This last year it didn't happen.
yeah, that one year with Nick, that, we had what, 11 inmates in
I
December?
think something
yeah,
like
that was
that. As long as
great.
15,
Yeah, well, you're going from billing out $70,000 a month to billing out 15, 20,
Mhm.
that hurts.
usually December and January.
Okay, so the prisoner meds, 15 grand was revenue last year, and this year it's showing 5,000. Since we are expecting about the same, can we increase that to closer to 15,000.
That's your,
Well, but you look at,
342.
you look at, seeing that depends on the inmate, 'cause you look at the year before, you're 35, 42, 726.
Here's the thing, I understand, but we are not gonna balance to get the reserves where they need to be to start the year. So we have got to either do more cutting or increase revenue. And even though it may be harder to realize a higher revenue, we're gonna do this with the general fund and other departments as well, but we've gotta aim high, not aim low. It's cautious, it's cautious to aim low, but we can't. And we do realize the higher numbers, but we don't have the luxury of your budget being to where we can be cautious. So if we can't, we can't, but there's gonna have to be some take or give somewhere else.
What are the inmate meds? Is that
That's-
the ibuprofen and stuff?
No, that's the ones, so, what that is all those DOC people that have medication, we have to pay for them, and then DOC reimburses. As long as Karen gets authorization before she does it, otherwise we need it. We get Matt Heller, we're spending a lot of money, so, his medication, there's some seizure medication, doctors prescribe it, it's $1,000 prescription, that's what we pay. And so, Laura, I guess
I know it's frustrating.
can we go to 14? Would you willing to do that? I did notice though, is that there's something back it says inmate welfare. It's $10,000 budget, 225.
That's the one Tammy asked me to.
So that is gonna be, that's, because you can't use telephone service or commissary as revenue, and it has to go back in, so that's where that money went into.
Is welfare expense?
Inmate welfare, so.
Is it an expense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, I guess, in an aspect would kind of balance itself out a little bit from, right?
Yeah, because you guys aren't supposed, whichever ones you're not supposed to touch and you generate revenue, you can't touch, it has to go to the inmates. So whatever they generate in revenue goes to offset their expense,
And I don't think,
like their TVs and,
Any clothing, beds,
yeah,
everything.
whatever they get from commissary type stuff.
so we could actually probably, I would say next fiscal year, we could write down what that actually looks like, but.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you can even pay the cable like out of that.
Yeah,
Can you?
that's
For
what
them.
she's, because it's for them,
And
their
Keep
welfare.
them busy and keep their, so they're not just sitting in a cement building with nothing to do.
Right.
So the telephone service, budgeted is 48,
That's the
average
one.
is 5,000, we can leave that the same.
Which one, yeah?
342016.
Inmate telephone,
That's the one that's what we're gonna play with.
okay,
That one and, but, yeah. and the big one comes-
342018.
so commissary would be the same also, okay? So, going up then to 342011 sheriff's fees. We have an average of 4,086 over the last 4 years. Budgeted last year was 3,000, realized was 2,488, budget this year is 2,000. Can we raise that to the average?
What's the average?
4,086, raise it to 4,000?
In the world.
What's sheriff fees? Is that people like getting fingerprints for things?
That is, well, that's gonna be civil fingerprints, less you are. So it's, you know,
Very.
yeah, it's a,
And then the other one is concealed weapon permit. I know we talked about this the other day. 23040. The average is 3,400. Budgeted was 2,000 and actual was almost 5. I know that there's a sense that you're kind of maxed out on that, but if we could raise that to just the average, if you guys did one ad and saw if you could get maybe a class, you might way exceed that.
Going with 34.
Yeah. It's less than was actual for last year. It's not a huge jump, it's $900.
well, you're gonna see, and I get, that's unfortunate. Obama's been the one that's Southern America, so,
That is
November looks like.
What to do with November?
Yeah, November's gonna have a huge effect. So I could entertain, I'd probably even entertain 35.
Ooh, let's do it.
I
You're gonna
honestly,
say it, I'm gonna jump.
I honestly think that, irregardless of who wins the national election, I think you're gonna see, I think you're gonna see an incline in some folks. Right now, the Rodney Gun Club, they're actually pulling people right now to come down here for the women's classes. Because here they actually fire a weapon in the ones in elderly building. So people are trying to come down here to attend theirs.
Then the other one, next page for me, sorry. Miscellaneous revenues. You're right at your average. Any way to increase that? I have no idea what that is. It's 3,600,000.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm
3,600 or 360,000
Yeah.
is the number.
Full detail myself.
And Debbie, while you're here too, what's the inter-fund operation? 38300.
That's our transfers in,
That was,
so that's where detention
Oh,
last year or felt, transfer money in, that's one of those revenue sources. They move from one fund to another.
Oh.
Okay,
Kind of like the 521 expenses, but we put together it's one of those awkward ones.
all right.
Thirteen, 14, you had a huge year of miscellaneous revenues.
So you just kind of go on Doug's side, and so what, if we didn't, in the absence of a different fund, that's kind of the catch-all, and we don't know where to put it.
Well,
So
I
it could
think.
be anything,
If you had donations,
which like we did for the bikes.
Yeah,
So maybe keep it at 500 for now.
yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Is
Because that 2,800 is pretty, and I'm not, out of character.
13, 14, that's when we took the horses, I wonder if that's when right when we did it, all that money started coming in.
Yeah,
Well,
it was to the sheriff's office.
It was to the sheriff's office and
that might
before.
be, you couldn't put, and we didn't have the horseman
Yep,
set up, or.
because it was like, we took them, hit the news, and all of a sudden checks started rolling in, that's what that is.
Right. Let's not repeat that though.
No,
Oh, God.
we're gonna take them to Franklin's.
All right, so, I think what we need is for you to do another tax levy on this one, and,
Numbers and.
include what we worked on with Tammy and these guys in the office. The transfer
Yeah.
account,
Like there's
That's
these
it.
you put
That's
on your
not-
original pages that, I feel like any ones that missed.
yeah,
Because a lot of that would be in these new ones that I sent out last night.
okay,
That's,
Oh.
because I took off of here and then plugged into here
all right,
to kind of know where we're at.
okay.
And so I'll plug into here again and go back to here.
And if it's good with you guys, we should probably work on general fund too, if that works, and
Yeah.
district court, does that work?
Yeah, I have a little bit of time.
Try to do it closer to 1:30?
Yeah, cause I just have to get the board for a little bit before 1:30.
Okay,
You want me back today?
no, we're gonna work on the general fund and
Okay.
district
Okay, I was
court
gonna say, cause
fund
I'm, this guy
and planning.
is preparing for battle at Fort Peck, so
All right.
gotta go fix a boat, so,
Did I tell you I talked to Nicole last night?
no.
What she's gonna do is, she thinks that your computer system is going to require the data entry that she has been doing. But until you guys decide or see what Zerker can and can't do, she's just gonna kind of step back. She does need to be paid for last year, and she's gonna send you a bill,
Sure, send me
but,
one.
oh, good.
And the thing is,
Okay.
I told her, I said, Nicole, I said, I think I sent an email to you and forwarded to her. Tell me what you're doing to justify, because I have to be accountable to somebody, and
And she feels she's done that, but what she's gonna do now is she's not gonna do anything. She is gonna kind of track things and send you emails so that you know. If Zerker uploads it, great. If they don't and you want it from her, she's gonna have a price list, and then you can just get that. Please come to her for a map.
You
She's
can
just
have
gonna have a price list and
I
then
got it.
charge you
I got
per.
printed new ones.
So hopefully that'll work good for both of you.
Well, and maybe we need to have a phone call, conference with you guys involved. The gentleman that I've been talking to is Norton Lovell. He seems to think that they just get it from, I think it's the state, whatever she submits, because she has to do it for planning for the county. And he says that 18,500 is outrageous. He said there's no way that there's that much work being done.
We should
For
have a
this.
call because she
So-
said she doesn't send anything to the state.
Okay.
She sends it to you guys, no, to 911, and 911, through their system, uploads it into the database. So she doesn't do anything with the state, is what she said,
Nice.
so it might just be a difference in communication.
it's that insight.
Because we already pay Insight
Yeah.
1,500, and then we're basically paying Insight, Zerker, it's all the same, another 45 to do it. And
Yeah.
I'm just talking to him, he's like, there's no way 18,500. He said, are you getting map books every year? We haven't got map books since 2006.
Yeah, we haven't had any updates. Our big map, our last updated big map was 2012. And we haven't had map books forever. And I asked her, I said, well, why don't we have them? She goes, well, nothing will change. So hence my resistance to pay 18,500. If nothing's really changed, then why am I paying this?
I understand where you guys are at, I understand where she is at. Problem is, there wasn't enough communication, and now the year has ended. There was an understanding on both sides that that money would be paid for the services. She provided the services, maybe not exactly what you wanted, but now the year's ended, she's still relying on that income. So let's start new this year, and if you want those map books, let her know.
Well, that's the thing, is, and the city, I've done the same thing with the city, is this is the way I want this money to come in, I don't want it this way. The way things were done, and I'm not gonna say they were correct by any stretch of the means. I'm also one that, if somebody walks in my office and says, how many tickets did you write to an African American in 2006, I can tell you, because I have that information. And that's what I need to have, you want me to pay you something no different than what we're doing here, is you want me to do this, that's fine. Please tell me why. I relate to Third Signal gives me a proposal, this is what we're gonna do, this is a time frame I'm gonna have it done in, this is when this is gonna be done, this is what the total cost is gonna be. That's what I'm looking for. And I
And
guess
that's
in the same aspect, is that she wants me to walk across to her office and have a conversation with her. She's wanting my money. I think that there's a reasonable belief that if it's important to you, you find the time. Because when I walk down there, she's never here. So if you wanna have a conversation about money, you come and see me when you're in the building. I don't think that I have to, I know I'm a little difficult, but I don't think I have to bend quite that hard.
Well, I think the
So-
communication has to go both ways,
Yeah.
and I think the conference call is a good one, and to have Nicole here to explain what she does on that call would be good. And if you guys don't need those services, that's fine. If you do, then she will be able to provide them, but like you said, she's gonna, for her own information and for you, have a price list so that you know what the cost is, you can budget for that, and she knows what her revenue's gonna be.
Yeah.
But in
What-
August, it's hard to say, I'm not gonna pay you for half of last year.
But what,
So-
I guess the
That's
only
only
thing,
part
and
that
then
we
I'm
have.
with Win, is the bill literally says 18,500, and I guess, what did you do for us? Yeah, I mean, I think that she should have to break that down. What did you provide the sheriff's office for 18,500, so we pay this bill? I don't think it's fair that you just submit an 18,500 bill with no explanation. We have no idea what we received. Talked to the previous sheriff, she was, my understanding, Brenda denied paying it the year before, but it got paid. And Brenda wasn't happy with the service either. And then I make another call to the mapping system that we use, and they're like, dude, that is outrageous. That is way off the charts. It's 4,500 for us to do it. They cannot come up with what 18,500, what her job would take 18,500 to do. Concerns me, should concern our commission. And
To the point that we should have been told about this last year,
yeah,
not
so
now,
we're
for the
bringing it
first
to you,
time.
but I think that before, and I guess I don't wanna speak for the sheriff, that I wanna see what was provided to us for this cost before. I don't just get a bill from Broadwater Ford for $1,000 and not know what was worked on a car.
She did tell me that she had everything itemized, so if you guys didn't get that, ask her
There
for
was-
it,
we
because she
had-
has
we had
that.
a- We
And
had
she
a
has-
budget with a highlighted 15,000, I don't know what was provided there, I want a breakdown of what did you do? You know, how long did it take you to do this, how long did it take you to do that, what's, I guess, wages, we can't pay wages out of 911, so, that's totally off. If her wages are in there, that can't be paid. So, you know, I don't know how that breakdown is, or what it is, I think we definitely need a meeting, but like I said, you know, I take my car to Ford,
On which
you
one?
get oil change was this much, oil was this much, this much, this much, labor, this much, $1,000, thank you, here's your check, and have a nice day, not, you took your car to us, used our service here, we need $1,000. You know, so I think definitely a breakdown.
There must have been something that Brenda wouldn't pay it last year, so there has to be something.
Well, and that's one of the things, and it's been really tough, is, I think we all appreciate it. The way things have been for years and the way things are today.
Yeah, cause
Yeah,
I
let's
would,
make it right.
yeah, I wasn't gonna, I mean,
We've
we
all-
can't hold the fact that Brenda didn't pay it, so there's something wrong. She didn't pay a lot of things, so, I mean, I would hate to use that logic.
And I don't wanna cause conflict, but the same fact is, I wanna be able, if someone walks in my office and says, what did you do? Why did you do this?
Oh, yeah.
I need to be able to justify it.
And we support that.
100%.
That's where I'm at with it, and I know it's frustrating.
Well, that's where by our standards too, we would want explanation of what we're paying for.
Well,
And
yeah.
if we get an invoice without it, we're gonna question, where's your
I
documentation?
mean, we have that policy for claims.
And so, if we see
Itemized.
stuff like that, we aren't gonna pay it without explanation, just because there's a claim. That's kinda how those fraud things occur, when they don't get questioned, what are we paying for?
That's what's happening, search and rescue, when arresting the president, so,
But what I would suggest is,
But we gotta
ask for
communicate.
that,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's,
Just tell her what you need, and then,
I'm
She should
hearing
be
more
able
and
to-
more complaints. Not complaints, but just a lot of people frustrated because there hasn't been very good communication.
Right.
And then things are done and everybody's upset and hurt because there was no communication. And I get that on kind of a QT, still the HR.
And I did reach out to Nicole
So-
and ask, you know, hey, we need to have a meeting, and
It's not unique.
we need to sit down, and it just hasn't happened yet. And then I had no idea that she was coming in yesterday, and we were talking about that either. And no way did we mean to blindside her. I think we were a little blindsided as well, you know. But I just, you know, it just seems like we sit down and we're trying to cut and save, and then we get that, and then I make one phone call to one company, not even, you know, shopping around, and they're just saying, no way, there's no way that costs that much money. And, I have a lot of faith in Norton. The person I talked to, he's a businessman, and been doing it for a long time, and just cannot come up with any way that it costs that much money.
And he doesn't know what she's doing either. She may be going above and beyond what he's ever seen.
Well,
We don't
he does
know.
see, they see what she submits, and there's no,
Oh, okay.
because they put it in anyway, so he's not understanding.
Now, 911 has declined some charges, and she said that usually she puts in a bill and she gets back a portion of that. 18, she gets back 13 to 14. So, obviously, you know, there is something itemized.
Mhm.
He's seeing that through 911 or whatever. She's understanding that. So, you know, yeah, at this point, what we need to do is have you guys sit down and talk, probably with Debbie.
Yeah.
Not in a public meeting, so maybe with just one of us, and, figure it out so that everybody is on the same road. Yeah, because you guys have worked together well for years. Let's keep it that way, on all sides.
And this isn't the single, her out or her position out whatsoever. If I got a bill from the road department, you know, for something, I mean, we're gonna question. I mean, you know, we sit here today and try to cut everything we can. We're gonna be questioning bills and why money's being spent, and can we do it cheaper?
Right.
You know, you did it with the meals when you were here, you
Right.
know, I mean,
Oh,
that's, I think, you know, just the other day we sent out an email that your patrol cars will not be run. Park in the shade, crack the window, you know, put a blanket over the windshield. I will not see a patrol car sitting outside running. Wintertime, we're gonna put in a plug. You know, I mean, we're trying super hard to save money, and I think that every time we're gonna get a bill, there's gonna be a question, and I wanna see exactly what you're gonna get.
Let's just be,
Lynn's not kidding when we say we pay attention to our budget.
And that's good, we support that.
And Michelle and I do look at every claim, and there's times we look at claims when they could have gone somewhere else for cheaper. Why are they going from here? So it's not just you guys.
Yeah.
It's, we look at every claim that way, and we see claims where this department could cut by going somewhere else.
Mhm.
And claims going to 360 for the little K-cups.
Yeah.
Like, oh, probably cheaper than, you know, just little things.
Yeah.
It adds up in the course of a year.
Mhm.
Well, that's why we pulled all the supplies out of the jail. We put them upstairs, and some of the supplies up there. You know, little things that we want, your fuzzy ass upstairs.
And-
And it's that simple, but the two different supply rooms going, that's part of the problem with that office supply room. Two different supply rooms going. And then you have one for abundance of one thing in one area and not enough in the other, and it's just, it's ridiculous, and so, you know, and so.
So, why don't we go ahead and recess? You name the time that you wanna come back. We do have a call at 1:30.
I can be back here by 1,
Okay,
and then we at least can get started and then continue after.
perfect, we'll meet here at 1. I'll double check the rooms available.
I won't be here.
All right. You guys are not needed,
I'm-
but thank you.
He's gonna be done, so Brandon, it is, I leave, I'm gonna go with both Brandon and everything else, Brandon, 6 in the morning.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you this afternoon.
All right.
Brandon will be,
Thank you, Miss Debbie.
Thursday night, he's going to George Street, in Las Vegas.
Oh, nice.
So, Seth, we usually do it back Friday, so, we can have him back in charge.